Good evening. I'm Chris Tolley, the president of the Playwrights Guild of Canada. And on behalf of our board of directors, our executive director, Nancy Morgan, and all of the hard-working, overworked staff here at the Guild, we'd like to welcome you to the 2023 Tom Hendry Awards. Now, before I get too far, I'd like to acknowledge that I reside on the land covered by Treaty 13, the traditional land of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat, and the Métis, and many, many other Indigenous people. I offer great respect to those who have resided on this land before me, and great respect to the many proud nations that I am now honored to learn from. Tonight marks a truly special evening. Playwrights weave worlds from words and entire universes from just quiet thoughts. Tonight, we celebrate the magic that you create as we honor playwrights from coast to coast to coast. Tonight is also a very special night because it marks the return of the Carol Bolt Awards, the first time since COVID. The winner of this prestigious award receives both a cash award and an option to be published. Tonight, we will discover new voices and revisit some old friends as we hear directly from the nominees about what inspired them to tell their stories. But now let's just jump directly into the show. I'd like to throw things over to our host, Bo Dixon, who is joining us from the Manitoba Theatre Centre's Tom Hendry Warehouse. Bo has worked almost everywhere with almost everyone, so when I use the cliche, he needs no introduction, for Bo, it's true. He is, of course, a playwright, but he's also an accomplished actor, singer, musician, and musical director. You've seen his work at the Stratford Festival, Crow's Theatre, Neptune Theatre, and many, many, many places across the country. So it is with great honor that we welcome Bo Dixon to our virtual stage. Bo?
The P, the G, the C, Tom Hendry Awards. Oh, whoo! Oh, thank you, Chris. What beautiful words. That was very eloquently put. Welcome. As Chris said, I am Bo Dixon, your host for this evening, today, Sunday. Welcome to the Tom Hendry Awards, a celebration of Canadian playwriting with Playwrights Guild of Canada. And as Chris said, here I am at the Tom Hendry Warehouse. This is amazing. Woo! 140 Rupert Ave, Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's a beautiful day here. It's about, 0 degrees, the sun's out. Well, it's sun setting. And I'm with my trusty helpers, my new friends. We have Jackson Marin and Tim Clark, engineers. They've been working here tirelessly, making sure that this stream works and that everything goes tickety-boom. And I'm so thankful for you boys being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank Mindy. I also want to thank Camilla Holland, the executive director for the Manitoba Theatre Centre, just down the street, and Kelly Thornton, artistic director of the MTC. They have been wonderful hostesses. I am here in Winnipeg performing Clue, directed by Dennis Garnham, and we are having a blast. I'm having a blast. This is my first time being here, and they have been wonderful with setting me up and making me feel at home at the Tom Hendry Warehouse. I can't believe I'm here at the warehouse. Over here to my left, I see Martha Henry. I miss her so much. And there's photos of other well-known actors and designers. Right behind me, past this wall, is the beautiful theater. This is a great space, and I hope you all come and check it out. Before we get started, I want to say we acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory, and that Manitoba is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. So moving forward, Tom Hendry. Who is Tom Hendry? For those of you that don't know, he was co-founder of the Manitoba Theatre Center in 1958. And in 2008, the MTC Warehouse Theatre was officially dedicated to Hendry. Hendry was born in Manitoba. He attended the University of Manitoba in 1947, but was later expelled. There's some drama there. Hendry served as head manager for MTC until 1963. He became a manager at Stratford Festival, co-founder of PGOC and Toronto Free Theatre in 1972, and founded the Banff Playwrights Colony in 1974. Hendry was also a playwright, television writer, including the CBC television series King of Kensington with the great Al Waxman. I loved that show when I was a kid. His plays include How Are Things with the Walking Wounded in 1970, The Missionary Position, 1971, 15 Miles of Broken Glass, Grave Diggers of 1942, and, I did not know this, Satyricon. He was named an Officer of the Order of Canada in 1995. That's Tom Hendry, and I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so honored to be asked to host this event. So let's get to it. Woo-hoo! You know, Chris said it. He was so eloquent speaking about the playwrights. And, you know, this is, I'm very nervous because, you know, as writers, they put pen to paper, and then these worlds, they create these worlds. And then as actors, we have the privilege of bringing these worlds, bring it to life, bringing it to the people. And, you know, as the saying goes, this is an awards, it's an awards night, but we are all winners because we're all recognized within our community for being accomplished writers. And all the best to everyone, to the nominees and to the future writers out there. And so glad that you could join us tonight. So let's get started. This year, we are presenting 11 awards. Tonight, the winners and recipients for all 11 awards will be revealed. The Playwrights Guild Drama Award, the Brodeur Award, the Playwrights Guild Comedy Award, the Dorothy Lees Blakey Theatre for Young Audiences Award, the Dan School of Drama and Musical Award, the John Palmer Award, the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation's Robert Beardsley Award, the RBC Emerging Playwright Award, the Lifetime Membership Award, and this year, as Chris said, the Carol Bolt Award is back. The Carol Bolt Award is back. We will see a lot of the nominees here tonight to chat with us and share what inspired them to write these stories. I'm very excited about that. We also have little surprise videos throughout the night from our presenting partners. PGC has asked theaters from different regions in the country to present some of our awards. Tonight, we will be going into the theaters and spaces of the Belfry Theatre in Victoria, British Columbia, the Sound Off Festival in Edmonton, Alberta, Persephone Theatre in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto in Toronto, Black Theatre Workshop in Montreal, Quebec, Eastern Front Theatre in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and the Confederation Centre for the Arts in Prince Edward Island. Tonight, we would like to send a huge thank you to our sponsors. Without their generous support, we would not have these awards. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These sponsors include Alberta Playwrights Network, Manitoba Association of Playwrights, Playwrights Atlantic Resources Centre, Playwrights Canada Press, Playwrights Workshop Montreal, the Playwright Theatre Centre, Saskatchewan Playwright Centre, Scirocco Drama, and Playwrights Guild of Canada, the RBC Emerging Artists Funds, the Dan School of Drama and Music, Queen's University, the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation, the estate of Dorothy Lees Blakey and family, friends and colleagues of John Palmer. Well, that's about it for the sponsors, so let's get this show going. Woo-hoo! The Playwrights Guild Comedy Award. This award is given annually for a new comedy by a PGC member which has not yet had a premiere production. This award is sponsored by Playwrights Guild of Canada. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. So the first shortlisted playwrights, here we go. We have Dorothy Dittrich, Kiko Gonzalez Rizzo, and Robert Moore. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to see you all. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll start with Dorothy, and then we can go to Robert and then Kiko. What inspired you to write this specific play? Why this story? Go ahead, Dorothy.
Thank you, Bo. Well, the inspiration for the play comes from my belief that creativity and self-expression are needs that we all have, and that those who ignore their creativity or relegate it to a chosen few become unbalanced. I have always been interested in spirituality and religion and their various images, creation myths and whatnot. And so I began to imagine an ordinary woman, a character who had cut off her creativity. And I wondered who she would be and what she would want, which began my comedic approach to the consequences of ignoring creativity and self-expression in the pursuit of safety, as told with a kind of Faustian twist.
Wonderful. That is very inspiring. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go to Robert.
That really rings with me, Dorothy. The start of this play is I read an article about 15 years ago. A woman in Michigan who was 68 years old posted an ad in a local newspaper, and the phrase was "suitors for sex." And I thought, wow, how did she get there? What happened? What happened to this person? Now, I didn't actually get a handle on the play, but I kind of tucked it away in my mind. 15 years later, this is early in 220, suddenly this drifts back in my mind, but I see this character, which I call Julia, then Jessica, and suddenly I know her. I know her background. She has a 31-year joyless marriage of what she calls sensual deprivation and relentless predictability. She's been alone for 19 years because her husband dropped dead of a heart attack, and she decides she can't take it anymore. She is also going to pursue romance she has never experienced, what she calls the euphoria of sweet intimacy. So she posts an ad in the newspaper. I got to read this to you. And the ad reads like this: mature, well-meaning woman, educated with refined sensibility, declares it is her intention to seek suitors suitable for amorous possibilities. Only applications with a sense of courtesy, graciousness, and a secure knowledge of grammar will be accepted. Fine penmanship, a plus. So the play drives on from there. She does pursue the romance, and there's a couple of sexy seduction scenes in this. But what I like about it is the play goes on, and now I'm following up something you said, Dorothy, you reminded me. The play changes, and her idea of the adventure, Jessica's fine adventure, kind of morphs. And by the end of the play, she says, I get it. I understand it. The real adventure is getting up in the morning, curious to see what the day will bring. If you can, as much as you can, live in a state of perpetual astonishment. And above all, stay open to possibility. So Jessica was my inspiration. And last comment, we live in an age of, this is the underbelly of the play, we live in an age of tremendous disconnection. 38% of Canadians live in a state of constant anxiety. So my play, in a way, is a comedic reaction to that. What Jessica's fine adventure is really about is a woman who finds out to become who she really is. It's a story of finding connection in an age of disconnection. Last comment, my favorite two-word line in the English language, the epigraph from Howard Zant, E.M. Forster: only connect. If we would only connect, we got to connect. Somehow we got to keep on connecting. That's the play.
Amen, Robert. Connection is the key. Thank you. Kiko, what inspired you to write this play? Why this story?
Well, it happened at a time when a lot of my friends, it seems parents, friends, and family were dying. And we had to get into the whole business of estate planning, and which I didn't realize how difficult it was. And I became executor for a few people, and a lot of people I found did not have the information, and they went through the trials and tribulations of, family wills and all that kind of stuff. And it got to be very, very nasty, but kind of funny sometimes as well. You get to really know people. So I thought this is the kind of situation that makes you, laugh or makes you cry. And so I thought I would write about it from a humorous point of view. And it's really difficult too when the aging people start to lose their memory, and history gets rewritten a little bit by family members. One could go on forever with that kind of stuff. So.
I hear you. Dorothy, Robert, Kiko, thank you so much. Wish you best of luck. Folks, that's the shortlisted playwrights. We will now hear from Eastern Front Theatre in Nova Scotia.
Hello, my name is Kat McCormick, and I'm the artistic director here at Eastern Front Theatre in beautiful downtown Dartmouth, Bunamuk, Quirij, which is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. Behind me, you can see Chapuktuk, or the Great Harbour, or as it's colonially known, Halifax Harbour. Eastern Front Theatre has been around for 31 years, producing brand new works from Atlantic Canadian playwrights, many of which were comedies. So I'm very thrilled to be presenting the Playwrights Guild Comedy Award tonight. The shortlisted plays are Lesser Demons by Dorothy Dietrich, Timepiece by Kiko Gonzalez-Riso, and Jessica's Fine Adventure by Robert Moore. The jury said, Lesser Demons is a lovely and unpredictable comedy that is a solid story that yields surprises. Timepiece is a funny but deeply poignant piece that touches on issues families deal with in an earnest way. And Jessica's Fine Adventure is an uproariously funny comedy with well-rounded characters and excellent tight dialogue. And the winner is Jessica's Fine Adventure by Robert Moore. Congratulations.
I can't believe it. That's amazing. People say I can't believe it. I'm actually in a state of shock. It never occurred to me I would win this thing. Just being nominated was enough. Jessica's Fine Adventure, as I mentioned earlier, was actually based on a true story about a woman, 68-year-old in Michigan, 20 years ago, who posted an ad in a local newspaper, if you can believe it, advertising sex for suitors. I didn't see a handle on that play at that point, but somehow it drifted back into my mind 3 years ago. And what happened was, interestingly enough, I saw this woman, this character that I called Jessica, and somehow, inexplicably, I knew who she was. I knew her story right away. She'd been married for 31 years. She had a joyless marriage. Her husband died young. She'd been alone for 19 years. She feels life's passing her by, and she is determined somehow to overcome this and pursue a quest for romance. So what she does, she also posts, borrowing this idea, an ad in the newspaper, and I'm going to read this again. This is the ad. Mature, well-meaning woman, educated with refined sensibility, declares it is her intention to seek suitors suitable for amorous possibilities. Only applications with a sense of courtesy, graciousness, and a secure knowledge of grammar will be accepted. Fine penmanship, a plus. Okay, so a little difference in tone, not so much the sex nor the romance. And what happened was, I knew her, so there was this avalanche of ideas. It kept on coming, and then I got stuck. Too many ideas. I was going around in circles. I had tons of things, but there was no forward motion to the play. Fortunately, I was rescued by a very fine playwright by the name of Judith Thompson. Out of the dim recesses of my memory, this phrase floated up that I had read from her years ago, that when you write, you must quote unquote, follow the path of least resistance. Okay, that was the inspiration I needed. I got myself out of the way, which was the big problem. I let Jessica take over. When she had a problem, I wrote that problem. When she was down, I wrote that scene. When she was up, I wrote that scene. She pulled me through the play, and we got to the end. And what she found in the end in her adventure, as she talks about it in the final scenes, she found peace in time. No longer feeling alone, she feels she was becoming the person she always knew she could become.
Robert, this is called the play out, Robert. I am so sorry.
That's all right. Now, do I have time for the fastest thank yous in the world?
Go ahead. I'm gonna have some underscore
and
for
I'll
you.
do the thank you, of course, to the three jurors, Marty Chan and Leidon Helena and Jani Lausen, and of course Playwrights Guild. Look what's happened to Playwrights Guild. Absolute vitality in the last 3 years under the leadership, blazing vitality under the leadership of Nancy Morgan. Thank you so much to my partner, Janie, for reading the play 10 times. And thank you to every single playwright across the country. What you do all the time, the grit, the perseverance is an essential occupation, not a peripheral occupation. We need what you do for the health of the society. So keep on keeping. And thank you all for continuing to put the truth on paper. It's great to be here tonight.
There it is, Robert Moore receiving the first award this evening. And that's right. I am here also to play out some of the winners. So I'm going to remind us. I'm going to give us about 90 seconds, and then I'm going to start playing us off. So just a reminder to the winners and to the nominees who don't win. Don't worry about a thing. Oh. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Yes, it's about the recognition, folks. So let's move along. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Robert. The next award is the Robert Beardsley Award, funded and presented by the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation. The Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights is granted to a full-time secondary or post-secondary student within the GTA for the creation of a one-act play script. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. We have Cass Iacovelli, Cassandra Marcus Davey, and Madeline Rossell. Hello.
Hi, Bo. Hi there.
Hi. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question, the same question from before. What inspired you to write this specific play? Why this story? And let's start with Cass, and then we'll go to Cassandra, and then we'll go to Madeline.
Of course, I'm the person to start. Thank you. Well, I wrote my play called Desert Lily, and I wrote it as an ode to the women who have pulled me out of some of my darkest moments and reminded me of the beauty that is in our mutual connections to one another. My play is about sexual assault, and as victims of sexual assault, our lives are intertwined through violence and oppression, but I chose to write about how we heal and how we choose to lean on each other, how we choose humanity, and how that choice will always outshine the violence that's in our past.
Excellent. So eloquent. Cassandra.
Yeah, my play Iphigenia is exploring the gaps left in stories by the constraints of ancient Greek tragedy. I'm really interested in what comes of these stories when we decide to make the characters more human and examine their lives on a more granular level. Both domestic life and acts of violence are left unstaged in Greek tragedy, and I put them on stage in my play, Iphigenia and Dreaming. And it's also a play about realizing the fallibility of the people you respect and how to move forward once the realization has hit that everyone around you is just as human, loving, and capable of harm as you are.
Wonderful. Madeline.
So Greek tragedy was originally written for a research course in my second year of Sheridan's creative writing and publishing degree program. At the time, I was going down a rabbit hole of learning more about how the patriarchy has shaped mythological stories about villainous women such as Medusa and Lilith. And while someone like Medusa might seem like a villain because she turns people to stone, what's more terrifying is the lack of autonomy she had both in her assault, her transformation into a Gorgon, and in her passing. Not to mention, she's also like the protagonist of her own story. She's often just seen as the cause of Athena and Poseidon's feud, or the monster that Perseus must slay on his quest. And she just kind of lacks autonomy and her own voice in her own narrative. And that's not really unique in mythology, as women are kind of used as a device in telling men's stories and could truly be replaced by sexy lampposts. So this course gave me the opportunity to spend much more time researching their story and researching storytelling elements in Greek tragedies, as well as the genres of music I felt best represented the story. And shout out to Hadestown for truly being an inspiration musically for me.
Wow. That was very eloquent, the three of you, very inspiring. And I really hope to read your plays, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for that. We will now hear from the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation as they announce the recipient. Best of luck.
Good evening. I'm the president of the Arts and Letters Club of Toronto Foundation, as well as a PGC playwright. My name is Marianne Fiduncu. We acknowledge the land we're meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. The Foundation has sponsored the Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights for the past 7 years. Previous winners of the Young Playwrights Award continue to thrive in the Canadian theatre community. Beginning this fall, Camille Inson is workshopping and developing a new play co-commissioned by the Creative School at Toronto Metropolitan University and Tarragon Theatre. Death to the Prometheans is currently in development with support from the Canada Council for the Arts, Ontario Arts Council, Theatre Aquarius, and Tottering Biped Theatre. Camille's play Patchface was part of the Vancouver Fringe Festival lineup this September. Luke Reese, Associate Artistic Director at Soul Pepper Theatre Company, created 1851, Spirit and Voice. His new work, a digital exploration of abolition and activism, draws upon events of the 1851 North American Convention of Colored Freemen. A commission by Museum of Toronto, 1851 is a collaboration among Museum, Soul Pepper Theatre Company, and the Ontario Black History Society. And Julie Phan, a Hoklo-Vietnamese writer, actor, and exotic dancer based in Toronto and Montreal, recently graduated from the National Theatre School of Canada in playwriting. The shortlisted plays for this year's Robert Beardsley Award for Young Playwrights are Desert Lily by Cass Iacovelli, Iphigenia in Dreaming by Cassandra Marcus Davy, and Greek Tragedy by Madeleine Rossel. The jury thought Desert Lily was a complex, interesting character-driven piece that took the audience on an exploration of the human condition. The jury said Iphigenia in Dreaming is an imaginative, theatrical piece of work that takes the audience on an emotional journey that is impressive for a young writer. Finally, the jury thought Greek Tragedy had intriguing characters accompanied by a variation of musical styles that propelled the story forward. And the winner is Iphigenia in Dreaming by Cassandra Marcus Davy. I look forward to hearing of the continued success of all young members of our theater community. And finally, congratulations to all the winners this evening. Thank you.
Hello. This is just going to be a lot of thank yous. Thank you, Kelly McCullough, Jeff Ho, and Deanna Kruger for your guidance and letting me bother you always. Thank you, Juliana Angeloni, for talking me all the way through the first and second drafts of this. I still promise you get to direct it first. Thank you, Gray, Ella, Sarah, both of them, Paulina and Daibe for sitting on my floor and reading this out for cookies. Thank you to my Shakespeare friends. Thank you, Max, for everything. Thank you, Bronwyn, for sending me pictures pictures of deer captioned Iphigenia every single day. Thank you to my parents for making me a massive nerd. I love you so much. And this was fun. I can't wait to write another one.
There you go, Cassandra. Congrats. And congrats to all the nominees. Let's move on. The John Palmer Award. An award-winning playwright, theater director, and filmmaker. John Palmer was never afraid to shake things up. As one of the first champions of homegrown Canadian theater, he made a career out of it. As a teacher and mentor, John was drawn towards young artists who rejected conventional ideas, and he inspired them to make art that agitated the mainstream. He was generous with knowledge sharing, respected alternate perspectives, and was interested in ideas of importance to different groups and generations. Family, friends, and colleagues hope to carry on John Palmer's legacy of using theater as a medium to challenge and change conventional thinking. As a senior and experienced playwright and director in theater, John also nurtured friendships and mentorships with the next generation of theater artists. I would like to welcome the shortlisted nominees on screen with me. We have Justin Miller, Lily Robinson, and Sangeeta Wiley. Hello, you three. How are you?
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for showing up. This is wonderful. So, what inspires you all to do the work that you do? What inspires you to do the work that you do? And we'll start with Lily, and then we'll go to Sangeeta, and then we'll finish with Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah, what inspires me, I mean, I really believe that a different world is possible and that theater can be a practice space for collective healing and transformation. Growing up in a low-income community, I think my mom instilled in me from early on that we had to speak up for ourselves and others, otherwise the issues that we were facing wouldn't change. Now, as an adult, I'm consistently inspired by the work of the Black feminist artists and activists teaching us to reimagine and remember our relationships to the natural world and to each other. And from there, to vision and act towards a future rooted in radical love.
Sangeeta.
I honestly don't know what inspires me right now. I know what did inspire me, the same motivation for everything I do. Sincere curiosity and interest in people, a desire to connect and help heal. Writing We the Same felt like surrendering to a force outside or inside of myself. I knew it was an important story, a tool in understanding one another and in healing a community. I saw my own family's adverse story in it. I saw opportunities for the play to be a vehicle for diversity, collaboration, expanding artistry, community building, awareness, and raising others up within and beyond the arts industry. Equally motivating is adversity. I faced many challenges, and most of these had to do with being an outsider. Sometimes I felt like Dorothy in the Land of Oz. Personally, I thrive on problem solving. Adversity can be an inspiration. Let the play be a vehicle for change. Let's be inspirations for each other and see where that takes us. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin.
First of all, what amazing company and what beautiful inspirations, both. So thanks so much. For me, I'm really inspired by a really great lineage of unapologetically queer artists and weirdos who were and oftentimes still are outside or refused access to the normal narratives. And because they're outside, they can see beyond those narratives into new worlds. I'm inspired by fools with capital Fs who used to be in court because they were regarded as an essential service, but are now condemned to clubs and tiny studio theaters and festival runs. But I strongly believe that when society collapses, we'll be essential again. I'm inspired by the imagination and open hearts of audiences and where they will take you if you trust them to lead. I'm inspired by what happens when we hold irony and sincerity, virtuosity and imperfection in equal measure, and give them equal importance. And I'm inspired by love and magic.
Okay, I love the three of you right now. That is incredibly inspiring. You're all winners in my book. I just, wow. Thank you for your words. I wish you the best of luck. I'm so glad I could hear the three of you speak. Let's move on to the video now.
Hello, I am Nancy Morgan. I am the Executive Director of the Playwrights Guild of Canada. I have the honor of talking tonight about the John Palmer Award. As has been described, John was never afraid to shake things up, and he was a champion of homegrown theatre. He made a career out of it. As a teacher and mentor, John was drawn towards young artists who rejected conventional ideas, and he inspired them to make art that agitated the mainstream. Funding for this award has been generously supported by the family, friends, and colleagues of John Palmer. The nominees for the John Palmer Award are Justin Miller, nominated by Karen Hines. Karen Hines writes, "It's rare to write a letter like this, wherein one can feel completely at ease, speaking about both the promise of and the evidence of a talent. In his 8 years as a professional, Justin has won significant awards and produced sold-out tours of his beloved and fiercely intelligent drag persona, Pearl Harbor. Justin is compelled not just by the problems and possibilities of drag as a theatrical form, but by how drag itself intersects with literature, music, history, the outcast, the vulnerable. Justin's words transcend division. From Videofag to Stratford, Fredericton to Whitehorse, communities bond in Pearl's refracted light. Justin collaborates with his elders, teaches young artists. It's never been easy to be a drag artist in this world, and it certainly isn't now. But beyond talent, Justin has demonstrated grace, resilience, and courage. These aspects braid in the backbone of our most precious practitioners of the lively arts. Lily Robinson, nominated by Heidi Taylor. Heidi Taylor writes, "I am pleased to nominate Lily Robinson for the John Palmer Award. Lily has worked with us on projects including the Fringe New Play Prize, winning MX and the Vancouver Black Theatre Archival Initiative. As a spoken word artist, actor, and playwright, they are a leader in the production of genre-breaking and community-generating work. As a producer and community leader, they are connecting the transformative power of theatre to folks who need it. They have established themselves as a critical partner in equity building practices from the position of a working class artist with no family or spousal resources to reduce the precarity of their economic reality. This award will have a practical impact on their ability to lead and to develop their own work. Lily asks hard questions and sticks around to find answers. I hope this nomination brings national attention to their significant achievements and practical support to further their goals." Sangeeta Wiley, nominated by Valerie Singh Turner. Valerie Singh Turner writes, "I met Sangeeta in 2011 at Canada's National Voice Intensive when I was an alumnus in the advanced program and she was training as an actor. Since 2015, I've come to know the writer beyond the actor and the person beyond the artist. Like many of the amazing women of color in our sector who come before her, I see in Sangeeta an exciting creative voice of the next generation, bringing strength, determination, and imagination in harnessing the power of theater as a vehicle for positive social change and disruption, while personally overcoming multiple systemic challenges. While We the Same gave voice to the harrowing experiences of the Vietnamese boat people crisis of the 70s, Sangeeta's latest play dissects intersections of mental illness, abuse, and justice. Her work has the hallmarks of the kind of radical inclusivity required to achieve meaningful change across multiple generations and communities." And the 2023 John Palmer Award goes to Lily Robinson.
Thank you so much. I want to start by thanking Heidi Taylor for nominating me for this award, and to Playwrights Theater Center as a whole for being a home for me since the start of my career. Thank you so much also to Joanna Garfinkel, Shanae Sodi, Donna Michelle St. Bernard, Jiv Parasaram, Fergie C.S. Ferguson Vox, Alicia Davidson, Emily Jane King, and everyone else who helped steward Mix, my first play, into being. It was really important to me that that show reach people from Vancouver's Black and Black queer communities, and that was what got me started in working to help create better access to theater for Black community members, especially to work that is for and about us. This work that I'm now a part of isn't new. Black folks in Vancouver have been working to create Black theatrical and cultural space in the face of rampant anti-Blackness and funding discrimination for decades. Some of the folks that this includes that I've been lucky enough to get to know and work with more closely are Celeste Insel, Siobhan Barker, and Kona. These folks and others have given blood, sweat, and tears to building Black and BIPOC artistic community throughout their lives, with nothing close to the kind of recognition that they deserve. There are so many people with the same story across this country. So in this moment where picking up Black stories and putting a stamp on them has become a very sexy thing to do, I encourage folks to look at whether the people behind those productions have had any previous relationship to Black community and culture, especially going back pre-George Floyd. Who are we lifting up? The people who have fought tooth and nail to claim space for Black storytelling in the Canadian artistic landscape, and who often have not been able to stay in theater long-term precisely because of the systemic barriers they have been fighting, or the people just in it to put a popular Black play in their production history. As someone who comes from a low-income background, this kind of support focused on career sustainability for artists is what allows me to keep going in this industry. I'm so grateful to have this means to put more of my focus on creating work, shaping change, and honoring the lineages I'm inside of. Thank you so much.
Congrats, Lily. Wow. Congrats to all the nominees. The CASA Award, a Canadian-South African collaboration supporting cis and trans women in South Africa, has come to an end. To celebrate and mark the final year, a special documentary was made, directed by South African filmmaker Dominique Josie, that explores the inspirations and challenges South African women playwrights face, as told through the stories of 3 of the CASA Award-winning playwrights. Tonight, we will be sharing the teaser trailer with you to provide a glimpse of this incredible work. You can find links to the full documentary on Playwrights Guild's website. Let's see the trailer.
My name is Rihanna Abrams.
My name is Disetso Mashifani Wanoni.
My name is Tamara Gers. The CASA Award is a Canadian-South African collaboration to support female playwrights in South Africa.
CASA gives female playwrights of various ages to write about what they're concerned about.
I felt like I had a little bit more of a luxury of time. And just to have somebody else who's invested in your play and who gets it, it's like it actually counts for so much. So if it wasn't for the CASA Award, that play would probably be still sitting in a drafts folder somewhere or on a hard drive.
What I would like to say to other aspiring female writers is that write what you like, just go there and see what happens. Yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be tentative. Without fear, go.
Don't be afraid. Just do it. Go. No fear. Beautiful video. Well done. Thank you, everyone that produced that. I would now like to talk about the Theater for Young Audience Award. The Dorothy Lees Blakey Theater for Young Audiences Award is given annually to a member of PGC who has a new or recently premiered Theater for Young Audiences TYA play. This award is generously sponsored by the estate of Dorothy Lees Blakey. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. Tonight we have Scott Button, Liana Brody, and not with us is David Paquette. But we do have Danielle Roy. Welcome, y'all. Let's start with Scott. Scott, what inspired you to write this play? Why this story?
Yeah, thank you, Bo. For Now is a story about the power of friendship and the discomfort that comes with growth and change. It's about finding the grace to see ourselves and the ones we love as clearly as possible. I was interested in exploring these themes with two intelligent and funny and loving best friends. Bex and Jacob explore their relationship to their queerness and gender nonconformity, and they're also faced with other questions about class, race, and who they want to be in the world. Two LGBTQ+ youth are confronted with profound pressures, and I wanted to write a play that centers queer joy while honestly confronting the pain, rejection, and loneliness that comes with being different.
Thank you, Scott. It's wonderful. Liana.
David can't be with us, the playwright David Paquette, so here are his words abridged and translated by me. Political disillusionment, ambient cynicism, eco-anxiety, environmental crisis, apathy and citizen engagement, personal gain versus collective good, corruption, abuse of power. What is it today to be young and received a battered earth as a gift? How does one keep hope alive when happy birthday has been replaced by happy doomsday? In response to this challenge, the writer has opted for political satire. Laughter and reflection are not incompatible. Humor allows us to relax and digest what would otherwise be difficult to swallow. The Weight of Ants is an X-ray of our collective anxieties. However, the play is intended above all as a restorative ceasefire, especially for young people who find themselves confronted with problems they absolutely did not cause. The Weight of Ants is a reminder that when we act together, everything becomes not only lighter to carry, but also easier to transform.
Thank you. And Liana, what inspired you to write your play? Why your story?
I'm the translator of this piece. I know that this is my third piece with David Paquette, and if he asked me to translate a grocery list for him, I would do that.
Wonderful.
It's
That's great.
Unique, original voice that I feel needs to be part of our community.
Thank you. I can't wait to read it. Danielle.
Thank you. In 2019, Jenica Grinke, who worked for Persephone Theater at the time, reached out to me with an opportunity to write for the TYA Playwrights unit, which is a program designed to create more locally written theater for youth. And I was really given creative freedom. So I really had no limitations aside from the fact that it needed to be for youth. So I decided rather than get in my head and start overthinking perspectives of people a lot younger than me, I would simply write a play with all of the love and none of the swear words. So Luna was born out of a deep love for my parents and the overwhelming fear of losing them. When we lose someone as a child, it kind of forces us to grow up. Yet when we lose someone as an adult, we return to that child within. So there's something about the experience of loss that really layers and folds time. It's a profound and painful teacher. So this story is important to me because it's about the healing process, which explores loss, grief, depression, navigating the darkness and discovering your own power to forgive, to grow, and to persevere.
Wow. Universal message indeed. Liana, it's always wonderful seeing you. Scott, Danielle, it's great meeting you for the first time. I can't wait to read your plays. Best of luck. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will now hear from Persephone Theater in Saskatoon as they announce the recipient.
Hello, my name is Heather Cant, and I'm the Artistic Director.
Hi, I'm Brianne Harmon, and I'm the Executive Director here at Persephone Theatre.
And we are joining you from Saskatoon and the beautiful lands of Indigenous peoples who have lived on and cared for this place since time immemorial, including the Nehiyawak, Nehithawak, Anishinaabeg, Nakaway, Nakota, Nahinawak, Lakota, Dakota, and Dene peoples. This is also the homeland of the Métis. At Persephone, we also like to extend our gratitude to the Round Prairie Métis and the Whitecap Dakota for the contributions that they've made in establishing our city of Saskatoon. This is Treaty 6 territory, and at Persephone Theatre, we are committed to living in good relations with our Indigenous neighbours in the spirit with which the treaties were intended.
And we are joining you today from inside the Relco Radio Hall at the Ramey Art Centre at Persephone Theatre, where we have just launched our 49th season.
We are honored to be asked today to present the Dorothy Lees Blakely Theatre for Young Audiences Award. The shortlist of nominees are For Now by Scott Button, The Weight of Ants by David Paquette, translation by Liana Brody, and Luna by Danielle Roy.
The jury said, For Now is a vibrant and layered portrait of the bond between two friends in a charged back and forth volley over gender identity and class. The Weight of Ants gives voice to two singular characters who wield sharp humor and honesty in a powerful and poignant battle to right wrongs. Luna takes us on a beautiful flight of imagination as a young girl bridges an unchangeable past to the promise of tomorrow.
And the winner of the Dorothy Lees Blakely Theatre for Young Audiences Award is...
The Weight of Ants by David Paquette and Liana Brody.
Congratulations
to both David and Liana and to all of the shortlisted nominees.
Oh, holy cow. David says, we would first like to thank the Playwrights Guild and the jury for this honor, and the family and friends of the late Dorothy Lees Blakely for sponsoring it. Bravo to the other nominees for this category, as well as for all of tonight's awards. It's a privilege to create theater by your side. Secondly, a big thank you goes to Théâtre Bluff, who commissioned not only Le Poids des Fourmis, but also its translation, The Weight of Ants, which would not exist without their unfailing support. We wish that all creators had the chance to be supported by such a visionary company, one that listens to the artists with whom it collaborates. Thanks also to Scirocco Drama, which is in the process of publishing the play. Finally, we'd like to salute the young people for whom the play is intended. They are growing up in a world whose future all too often seems uncertain. The Weight of Ants is our humble way of saying, we are here beside you. You're in our minds and in our hearts. We truly hope that a weight that we share becomes lighter to bear. Translator's note. Yeah, that part was David. Elegant, generous as always. The Weight of Ants was my third time translating his work, so this speech makes number 4. David Paquette is an amazing collaborator and friend with an exciting, unique theatrical vision, a writerly voice like no other. It's a joy to bring his hilarious, soulful, imaginative work into our English-speaking community. And just one thing more. I love you, Giovanni C. I am photobombing my own translation just to say it. Sorry, David. Also, I have the best friends and the best mom. Hashtag blessed. Brody out.
Yes, Brody. RBC Emerging Playwright Award. Yeah. Okay, seriously. The RBC Emerging Playwright Award gives up-and-coming playwrights the opportunity to win a 6-month mentorship with a professional playwright of their choice, as well as $2,500 cash prize. PGC offers a second place prize of $1,500, $1,500, and a third place prize of $1,000. This award is generously sponsored by the RBC Emerging Artists Project. The RBC Emerging Artists Project. The RBC Emerging Artists Project. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me right now. We have Cole Haley,
Hey.
And it's just Cole Haley. Absent, who's truant, is David Sklar and Margarita Valderrama. We're thinking about them. But Cole, we're going to give you some airtime here. What inspired you to write this play? Why this story?
Yeah, thanks, Bo. And I'm sad I not seeing David and Margarita, but like congratulations to them too. Yeah. So I first started to really dream about this play when I was in high school, which is one of my most lasting ideas. And I was first learning about the resettlement program in Newfoundland and Labrador. I was like many people are when they first see the pictures of the resettlement program. You're completely blown away at the sight of the houses being floated across the ocean. It looks very dreamlike, very surreal. And I guess it was always that image of the house floating across the ocean that stuck in my brain. And I started to work on this play when I was living away for school, and I was thinking a lot about home, and I was being a little bit of homesick. And I kept seeing that house that was floating across the ocean. And I guess it was really born from that feeling. And I knew I always wanted to tackle the resettlement program. It was something that is, a very, it's a stain on our province a little bit, I think. So I knew if I was going to write something about the resettlement program, it would have to take place right there in that house that's being floated across the water. So yeah, that's it.
That's wonderful, Cole. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for representing. I'm now going to read Margarita's response as well as David. Margarita, her play is One Perfect Day, and she sent the following. I'm a romantic. I was writing this as I planned my own wedding, and I couldn't help but want to challenge all the fantasies that industry thrives off of. What exactly is so desirable about the particular fantasies they're selling? In what ways do these fantasies reinforce heteronormative, patriarchal, and Eurocentric ideals? A telenovela felt like the perfect engine to explore these questions because, well, I love telenovelas. I love how cathartic and satisfying they are, but they often also have a lot of social commentary. But ultimately, this is a story about a family's strength and beliefs being tested and the unspeakable and incredible things love makes us do. David was unable to be with us tonight as well, and he sent the following. His play, Vial, V-I-A-L. I wrote Vial during the pandemic when I read that the chief rabbinate in Israel admitted to using DNA testing to prove one's Jewishness. I was also fascinated by the scandal at the U of T Law School in 2020, where a potential hire was axed because a donor to the school raised concerns about the candidate's academic work on human rights in Israel and Palestine. The play explores the rabbit hole that is Jewish identity and the tensions and conflicts inherent in deciding who gets to call themselves Jewish. Since 23andMe arrived on the scene along with several other DNA testing companies, some of which expressly identify individuals as genetically Jewish, I have worried about the implications of letting blood dictate one's past, present, and future by drawing a link between culture and identity on the one hand, and genetics and heredity on the other. One only needs to look at the example of pretendians. Oh my God, for some reason I'm having trouble speaking. Like Michelle Latimer or Vian Timmons, who claimed indigenous identity, to see the fraught tension of this interplay. I wanted to explore how this dynamic shapes our perspective and whether our lineage should dictate one's understanding of self. Thank you to David and Margarita for sending that. And thank you again, Cole, for being here. I wish you all the best of luck. I look forward to reading your play, Cole. And we will now hear from the Belfry Theatre in British Columbia as they announce the recipient.
Welcome to the Belfry Theatre, located on the traditional unceded territories of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples. We acknowledge the Songhees and the Esquimalt nations who have cared for these lands, colonially known as Victoria, for millennia.
As a company that focuses on contemporary Canadian plays and also commissions and develops new plays, the Belfry is honored to participate in this year's Tom Hendry Awards.
We are delighted to present the RBC Emerging Playwright Award. The shortlisted plays are The Thin Place by Cole Haley, Vile by David Sklar, and One Perfect Day, Un Dia Perfecto by Margarita Valderrama.
In the words of the jury, The Thin Place is an unnerving portrait of a family that is disorienting, funny, and heart-wrenching. It's a dynamic of naturalism in the face of absurdism. Vile is a piece with conflicting purpose within a shared purpose. The characters are smart, self-involved, driven by ideology, and well-written. One Perfect Day, Un Dia Perfecto, is a hilarious portrait of a family in crisis on a big wedding day. Expertly crafted family chaos, wonderfully realized through the much-loved genre of the telenovela. And the winner of the RBC Emerging Playwright Award is...
The Thin Place by Cole Haley. Second place, One Perfect Day, Un Dia Perfecto by Margarita Valderrama. Third place, Vile by David Sklar.
Congratulations to you all.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you never expect to win, I guess. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, I'm actually pretty surprised. Yeah, so first of all, I'm super honored to be nominated for this award, to be up there with David and Margarita. Again, so sad that I couldn't see you on the screen, but yeah, it's an honor. Just being shortlisted for this is a dream. Yeah, I want to thank the Guild. I want to thank the Tom Hendry Awards. I want to thank my dramaturge, Andrea Romaldi, and Aki at the National Theatre School, and also everybody at the National Theatre School who kind of helped me develop this over the course of a year. This play is about the resettlement program in Newfoundland and Labrador, which forced people out of their homes and into government-designated growth centers, and it turned many rural villages into ghost towns, and losing in the process many ways of life that now only exist in recordings and museums. It kind of affected even my hometown where I grew up. Resettlement, like I said earlier, is, in my opinion, a stain on our province, and its effect is still being felt today. With that being said, a far bigger stain on our province happened a long time before the resettlement program, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it here. So yeah, the genocide and the robbing of the land from the Beothuk people, the original caretakers of the home they knew as Umdahamguk, they, along with their language and culture, are forever lost. And, you know, I believe it is important to learn from history. And that's why it's important to recognize that there are many Indigenous groups whose language and ways of life are right now in 2023 in danger of being lost forever. What happened to the Beothuk people in my home province was a travesty that should never be repeated again. And I think it's important that we hold our government accountable to ensure that. Yeah, so thank you. And I'm definitely forgetting people too, but I don't want to be played out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bo. I love your play. It's beautiful, but
I won't play El Cole because you're the only one that showed up. Congratulations, Cole. Can't wait to read your play. Can't wait to read your play. All right, let's move along, okay? The Broad Door Award, presented by PGC's Women's Caucus. The Broad Door Award recognizes an individual or individuals for their efforts in supporting and promoting the work of Canadian women playwrights. We will now hear from Women's Caucus members Aldona Jaworska and Carolyn Nakagawa to present this award.
Good evening.
My name is Aldona Jaworska. I am in Calgary, also known as Mokinstis. I want to acknowledge the people of this land, the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Eyahe Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation of Alberta, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. I am a member of the Women's Caucus at the Playwright Guild of Canada. PGC's Women's Caucus was formed to meet the particular needs of women playwrights. The Brador Award was established in 2006 and recognizes a theater professional, an individual, or a team for their efforts in supporting and promoting the work of Canadian women playwrights. Nominations for this award are put forward by PGC Women's Caucus members, but the entirety of PGC's membership votes for the winner. The 2023 shortlist for the Brador Award includes 5 candidates. Catherine Banks, a playwright and educator from Nova Scotia, who was nominated by her students in the Sage Hill Playwriting Group from the summer of 2021. Norm Foster, a playwright and actor from New Brunswick, nominated by Kristen De Silva. Lisa O'Connell from Ontario, who is the artistic director of Pat the Dog Creation. She was nominated by Jessie Bergeron. Marian Savchuk, creator and producer of Women at Plays from British Columbia, nominated by Shannon Pat. And Donna Spencer from British Columbia, a co-founder and the artistic producer of Firehall Arts Center, who was nominated by Lucia Franchione. Congratulations, nominees. Now, Caroline Nakagawa will announce the 2023 Brador Award winner. Good evening. My name is
Hello, my name is Caroline Nakagawa. I'm coming to you as a settler of Japanese and British ancestry from the unceded ancestral territories of Squamish and Hunkaminam-speaking peoples to present the 2023 Brador Award on behalf of the Women's Caucus Steering Committee. I'm pleased to announce the recipient of this year's Brador Award is Catherine Banks. Her students in the 2021 Sage Hill Writing Experiences Playwriting Group nominated Catherine for her dedication as a mentor, which superseded the challenges of forging connections over Zoom. They specifically cited her careful attention to craft, as well as to the lived experiences of her students. Kelly Jo Burke says, Catherine leads by quiet but steely example. She models assertiveness that is no less fierce because it is presented without aggression, passive or otherwise. She quite simply knows her stuff, and any woman who has had the privilege to work with or around her in the last 3 decades has been shown how to speak for herself in a professional manner, thrive in our community, win respect and productions, and persevere in a life in theater. This model can be seen in a 2015 letter that Catherine wrote to the Playwrights Guild of Canada, in which she advocated not only for women writers, but also for women audiences. Quote, "It is my plea for theaters to embrace the audiences they have, women over 50. Don't preach to these women, they are compassionate, or feed them pablum, they've survived birth, death, loss, or talk down to them, they are thinkers. Or give them a steady diet of never seeing their own lives authentically reflected back at them." And from this statement, we can see the most irrefutable argument for the importance of women playwrights like Catherine and all those who learn from her. As the winner of the 2023 Brador Award, Catherine will receive a collection of plays from Playwrights Canada Press and Sirocco Drama, and a 1-year supporting membership to the Playwrights Guild of Canada. Thank you to these organizations for sponsoring the award, and congratulations to Catherine Banks.
Wow. I am on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and I'm grateful to live and work here. If you are able, please consider making a donation to Cindy Blackstock's First Nations Caring Society. I'll put the link in the chat. as she continues to fight to make Canada a just society for First Nations children. Dear colleagues, I'm incredibly honored to be selected to receive the Brador. Thank you, Sage Hill Playwrights Lab 2021 for nominating me and for all the wonderful things you wrote in your nomination. For 10 days in mid-pandemic, weren't we lucky to Zoom together, talk plays and writing, and have our wine and chip socials? The first 10 years of my playwriting career was an uncertain and lonely time. I was a stay-at-home mom, far from theaters, and filled with self-doubt about my writing ability. I was active in the Dramatist Co-op, later Park. But at the end of the meetings, I went back to my rural home, desperate for community, but no way of creating it. In 2013, I was asked to teach a playwriting class at Dell. The first time I met with a student one-on-one, I was nervous because I didn't want to cause harm. I asked myself, what would have helped me when I was at her stage of development? Suddenly, it wasn't only about the play, but about making sure the student felt seen for the theater artist she was becoming. I missed teaching when the year ended, but the class had opened up to me a world of young artists making theater in Halifax. I admired these young people and I wanted to help them in some way. I asked myself, what would have made a difference to me as an emerging artist? The answer came instantly: to be invited in by established artists to talk about theater. That year, up until the pandemic, Mary Vingo and I started Women in Sambro in Theater. Every few months, we invited theater makers at all stages of their career for afternoons of coffee and cinnamon buns and talking. So much wonderful theater talk. After the first gathering, as the last carload headed back to the city, I turned to Mary and I said, I thought I was doing this for them, but they've totally left me feeling re-inspired. That's what overwhelms me about receiving the Brador. This award is amazing to receive because it is a gift on top of many gifts. Reading their plays, talking theater with Kim, Tash, Carla, Beryl, Siobhan, and Kelly Jo, and everyone that I've got to meet through all my mentoring, teaching, and theater afternoons have inspired me and continues to inspire me. I tell my students, you'll never be rich writing plays, probably, but your life will be enriched beyond measure by your theater colleagues. Thank you, Playwrights Guild of Canada, for all the work you do supporting playwrights. Dear theater colleagues, thank you for deeming me worthy of this award. I am so touched.
That's lovely, Catherine. I was hoping you'd pull out your guitar there in the corner, but that's wonderful words, and congrats. Now for the Dan School of Drama and Musical Award, Musical Award. This award is given annually for a new musical work by a PGC member which has not yet had a premiere production. This award is sponsored by the Dan School for Drama and Music at Queen's University. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me now. We have Landon Braverman and Anna Jastrzębski, Aaron Jensen and Glenn Mauray, and Todd Phillips. Welcome, everyone. Landon and hi. So Landon, let's start with you. What inspired you to write this story? Why this story?
Thank you for asking. So I wrote this piece with my collaborator, Anna Jastrzębski. She sends her regards. So we're both queer identifying, and for us as a queer team, something that really guides a lot of our work is trying to, especially with the power and magic of music, sort of create moments of very radical joy, queer joy, in what I would say is a pretty divided world right now. Captain Zook, the show that we're nominated for specifically, is about discovering one's identity and really living it uninhibited. But also it's a pretty deep meditation on artistic relationships and friendships in general. It's drawn from personal experiences, both good and bad. So we set out to write a story really that was about the power of friendship and how even when you make mistakes, when things devolve, there is a path to redemption.
That's wonderful. I can't wait to see your musical. Aaron Jensen, why'd you write this play? Why this story?
I love jazz era, golden era musicals, but I find that many of these shows age poorly. I wanted to write a new work that paid tribute to the productions that I grew up watching, but also allowed me to tell a contemporary progressive story. As a jumping off point, I wanted to explore the question, what does it say about our society when Netflix can't keep up with the demand for new murder shows? And plus, I was keen to write a musical that celebrated a platonic adult friendship between two people in their 40s.
Wow. I'm sold. You had me at jazz.
Okay, all right.
Glenn Mauray.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
The story of Juke, it starts with the guitar. It was a resonator guitar, like a Delta blues guitar, and I saw it at my music store. And I don't know, as musicians, sometimes an instrument calls to you in a certain way, and this was the case with this guitar. And I bought it, and I really didn't know how to play it, so I had to learn how to play bottleneck slide, and started learning the stories behind the music of people like Elmore James and Robert Johnson and Son House. And they were legendary, like outlaw figures who were torn between, being raised in a church and playing devil music. And there was that conflict that sort of started to come up in songs that I started writing. And people who were deeply moved by the spiritual aspects of music, but also conflicted with the troubles in their lives and being told that they were playing the devil's music. And there's so many legends around it that I quickly came up with a record and recorded it live. And my friend came to the recording and said there was a play inside that record. And I had never thought about it. And I mulled it over. And then the story of my own relationship with my father crept into the story, the conflict between the son's ambition and the father's idea of what their career path should be. And it's been replicated in the story of a father and son who are sharecroppers on a southern plantation. And the father's been to the north chasing the dream and gets badly beaten in the riots in 1919 in Chicago. And the son has the same dream, and that fear manifests itself into anger against the son and trying to suppress his dream. And so all that came into the story of Juke. And I want the story to sweat and to groove and have that kind of feel like that you're at an old juke joint, but you're living one of the greatest stories, and that's never been told, the great migration of thousands of people coming from the south to the north to chase this beautiful dream. And that's where the play is now. And I'm dreaming that it'll be on stage one day.
Wow. And you had me at resonator guitar. I want to just, I just want to go on a separate Zoom with just the three of you and just talk about music for the next 2 hours. So good night, everyone.
I do want to say my co-writer, Todd Phillips, really helped me direct the formation, and he's brilliant in terms of how plays were structured. And I would have never been able to finish writing it without him. So,
well, wonderful. I can't wait to read or hear the three of your musicals. They sound amazing. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for coming. And let's now we will hear from Adam at the Confederation Center for the Arts in PEI as they announce the recipient.
Hello, bonjour, Gwe. My name is Adam Brazier, and I am the Artistic Director at Confederation Center of the Arts and the Charlottetown Festival. I am standing here in the beautiful Sobey Family Theater in Confederation Center on Epiquet, home of the Mi'kmaq who have lived here since time immemorial. It is our great honor this season to be announcing the winner of the Dan School of Music and Drama Musical Award. The Charlottetown Festival is synonymous. Synonymous? We're very well known for creating original Canadian musical theatre. In fact, we made our first premiere in the year 1965 with a little musical called Anne of Green Gables. And since then, the Charlottetown Festival has created and produced over 80 original Canadian musicals, making us by far and away Canada's leading contributor to the musical theatre canon. And with that in mind, we announce the nominees for this year's award. Captain Zook. Original story created by Landon Braverman and Anna Ustremski. Music and lyrics by Landon Braverman. Lyrics and book by Anna Ustremski. Aaron Jensen for Armchair Confidential. And the final nominee is Juke by Glenn Murray and Todd Phillips. And the winner is, thank you very much, Juke by Glenn Murray and Todd Phillips. Congratulations to you both, and congratulations to all nominees for your continued effort to add to the Canadian musical theatre canon. Wileliak, goodbye.
Oh boy, wow. I am so overcome. I'm really happy that that we won this award, and so grateful. So grateful to the Playwrights Guild for supporting up and coming artists like myself and Todd, and in our dreams in getting our play to the stage. And this is just such an incredible step forward for us. I want to thank Karen Simpson and Heather Brimstone for all their work in helping me with editing, and I really want to thank Todd, because Todd has really taught me so much about writing plays and guided this dream forward of, you know, bringing the story of the Great Migration to the theater, because I believe and know in my heart that this story has to be told. It's a story of the struggle of Black artists to find a better life in the North. And that struggle is still ongoing in the 21st century, and music is you know, the accompaniment to that story. It's the record of that story, and the heart blood of the Black experience. So to blend those two things together, that music and that story, is just been an incredible journey, and we look forward to continuing this journey and having this dream come to the stage. I'm really overwhelmed and humbled to have won this award with Todd when we are in the company of such great artists and under this amazing guild. So thank you all so much. We're so excited and grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to jam soon with your resonator guitar. And maybe we'll write a musical together as well. Wow. 3 interesting musicals. I can't wait to, again, to see them, to read them, to hear them. And congrats to Glenn and Todd for Juke. I'm really excited for y'all. Now let's move things along here. We're getting close to the end, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're having a great time. I'm having a great time, and I hope all y'all at home are having a good time. And you know, I should tell you, if you have any praises, accolades at your wonderful host this evening, please, you can reach out to me on my Instagram, bdslips, or www.bodixon.com. I'd love to get your feedback and your praises. But seriously, let's move forward. We're coming close to the end, but we've got some great speeches, videos, and I want to know more about what's going on with these nominees, and I'm so excited to hear about these playwrights. So we are going to go to the memorial video. This is, I would like us to take a moment to remember those we have lost in our community this past year. Let's take a moment. remembered always indeed. They will be forever missed. And thank you for that video, PGC. Moving forward, the Playwrights Guild Drama Award. Next up, this award is given for a drama by a PGC member, which has not yet had a professional premiere production. This award is sponsored by Playwrights Guild of Canada. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. We have Natalie Meisner, Giovanni C., and Catherine Turnbull. Hello to the three of you. Hello.
Hey, Bo.
I'm going to ask the three of you the same question that has been asked in the past. What inspired you to write this play, and why this specific story? So I'll start with Natalie, and then we'll hear from Catherine and then Giovanni.
Great. Thank you so much, Bo. So a little bit about Area 33. This is a play that both pays tribute to and asks really hard questions about the place that I grew up and the place that I love, about the fishery, about extractive industries, and perhaps most importantly about what we're leaving to the next generation. So while all the characters are invented, the play is inspired by real events that happened in the place of my birth, on the Macmaki in southwest Nova Scotia. When I went on to live, work, and play in Kingston for the next kind of chapter of my life, I found that kind of these links between extractive industries and fish and oil, environmental racism, the interlocking issues of overfishing, and how we're kind of stripping the earth came together in this piece. So Area 33 is a kind of a cri de coeur for the ocean, for the fish that live there, for the people that work on the water, and the main character, Chloe, as well. And while it deals with very real kind of serious issues, environmental collapse, intergenerational alienation, addiction, it does so through the medium of laughter, because that's how I learned to survive the tough stuff. The people who raised me learned to live through all that with the life vest of humor. So yeah, thanks so much. So honored to be among the nominees for this award.
That's wonderful, Natalie. Thank you. Pause for a minute. There seems to be some background noise. I'm not sure if it's from one of you or if it's from our... So I'm not sure. Maybe if I could ask, if you're not speaking, if you could just hit mute on your microphone. Thank you so much. But thank you, Natalie. I could hear you, and it was very well put. Catherine, what inspired you to write your play, and why this story?
Well, it's a translation, and reading Rachel Creton's La Nuit du 4 au 5, for the first time, I was blown away. And every time I've read it since, I have been moved and awestruck all over again. It's a delicate dance of everyday life, poetry, and artistry, something that's very grounded and real and yet elevated. This play is beautiful, haunting, and topical, and the thought of translating it frankly terrified me. Sexual assault touches us all, whether we've been a victim, a witness, a friend or family member, or even a perpetrator. Sometimes we fall into more than just one of those categories. Talking about it is essential, and seeing a play about it is cathartic. Even for someone lucky enough not to have had a personal experience with it, this play paves the way for deeper understanding and compassion. The play is vital. It's dark and difficult, yes, but it's also moving, uplifting, and hopeful. It asks the audience to question their biases and assumptions surrounding sexual assault and stereotypes. It lays bare the confusion, devastation, and even apathy that surrounds such events. The play that Rachel wrote is life-changing, and it changed my life. I hope it will change others for the better.
Thank you, Catherine, and vital indeed. Thank you so much for your words. Giovanni.
Hi, Bo. Yes, my play Kowloon Bay is a prequel to a play that I wrote in 2017 called Nine Dragons, which was a detective play. And I've always loved the mystery genre, and I knew that there were more stories to tell with my detective, Tommy Lamb, the hero of both Nine Dragons and Kowloon Bay. So this prequel is set in 1911, about 13 years before the play Nine Dragons takes place. Um, and in my dreams, it's a trilogy. I think there's a third Tommy Lamb story that would be set in 1950s Hong Kong at the end of his life. So if anyone wants to commission that, Colin Rivers, Marquee Literary.
That was a good plug.
Good plug, yeah.
Listening to the three of you is inspiring. Giovanni, it's great seeing you, and it's great meeting you, Natalie and Catherine. I wish you the best of luck. And we will now hear from Sound Off Festival in Alberta as they announce the recipient.
Hi, thank you. Wow, this is so unexpected. First, a huge thank you to Vertigo Theater. Uh, As I mentioned, this is a prequel to their play Nine Dragons that they produced, and it was the previous artistic director, Craig Hall, that commissioned me to write this play, and that's how Kowloon Bay began. Thank you, Craig, and thank you also to Jack Grinhouse, the current artistic director of Vertigo, who continues to support the play, as well as Barbara Tomasic and Gateway Theatre for their support. Thank you, Clem Martini and the University of Calgary, where I wrote the first draft of Kowloon Bay, for course credit, no less. And thank you to my wonderful dramaturge, Jenna Rogers, and to my fantastic literary agent, Colin Rivers of Marquee Literary. Thank you to the PGC for supporting this award and for always supporting Playwrights. And finally, thank you, Liana Brody. I love you back. You've been there with me from day one. Thank you.
Love is in the air. Can't you feel the love in the air? Congrats, Giovanni. And congrats to all the nominees. Again, it's about the recognition. Let's move on to the Lifetime Member Award. To be honored as a lifetime member, a playwright must be alive. Sorry, that was a bad joke. A playwright must be nominated by PGC members. The lifetime member is recognized for a body of work and or service to Playwrights Guild of Canada and the theater community. Membership dues are waived. We will now hear from PGC member Wendy Lill to announce the recipient.
Hello, I'm Wendy Lill, and I'm here to announce that Mary Vingo is receiving this year's Lifetime Achievement Award. And there are 5 reasons for this, in my opinion. Number 1, Mary has, over the last 40 years, been the founder of 5 important theatre companies in this country. Nightwood Theatre in Toronto, Eastern Front Theatre, and Ships Company Theatre and Home First Theatre in Nova Scotia, and the wonderful Magnetic North Theatre Festival. Mary is an incredible director. I have worked with her for many years on several of my plays. She is a dramaturge, she is an inspiring director, and she cares about young artists. She is also an incredible artist herself. She has written many plays like Some Blow Flutes and Refuge. And I think back on Magnetic North as an important place to land as well, because it was a festival put together with the National Arts Centre, and it covered the country and the works of Canadian playwrights all over the country. Finally, I'd like to say number 5, Mary and her life partner, Paul Cram, created 2 incredible children. And one of them now is a graphic novelist, and the other one is the artistic director of Ships Company Theatre. So the acorn has not fallen far from the tree. Thank you, Mary, for everything you've done for all of us in Canada and our theatre community.
Thank you, Wendy. I am really thrilled to be the recipient of this Lifetime Achievement Award from Playwrights Guild of Canada. The Playwrights Guild has always been such an important organization for playwrights. I've been a member for longer than I can remember. And I've met tremendous people through the organization all over the country. It does such good work in terms of promoting playwrights and helping them develop their craft and their financial acumen. So it's a great honor to be a lifetime member, and I look forward to many more years being a participant of this great organization.
Mary, 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 congrats, Mary, congrats, Mary. And now, the Carol Bolt Award. Woo-hoo. Carol Bolt. The Carol Bolt Award is given annually to a member of PGC who has premiered an original play. Funding for the award is generously sponsored by Alberta Playwrights Network, Playwrights Canada Press, Manitoba Association of Playwrights, Playwrights Atlantic Resource Center, Playwrights Workshop Montreal, the Playwrights Theatre Center, Saskatchewan Playwrights Center, Shiroko Drama, and Playwrights Guild of Canada. I would like to welcome the shortlisted playwrights on screen with me. This is very exciting. We have Jenny Lozen and Caitlin Reardon, Natalie Meisner, and Meredith Taylor Perry. This is very exciting, very exciting. Now I'm going to ask a very unique question. I've only asked it 12 times this evening. What do you think it is? Natalie, what is the question I'm about to ask you? There's two questions. Shoot, away.
There are two. Well, the one that I think you're going to ask us is what inspired the play?
Okay, yes, but you know, the number one question I'm going to ask you is, what party are you at right now? What party are you at? Like, are you on a ski lift? Like,
yeah, I'm at a little private party with my lovely sons and my wife, and we're out kind of celebrating the evening. So they're here. Can y'all say hi?
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to ask everyone in that building to be quiet when you give the answer. I'm kidding. Go ahead. We can hear you. Just talk loud. What inspired you to write this play and why this story? Go ahead.
Sure. So Legislating Love is inspired by the life of Mr. Everett Clifford, beloved Calgary bus driver, son, uncle, baseball player, and hardworking elder, and the last person to remain in jail for homosexuality after legalization in 1969. His story stands out due to his resilience. Despite the harsh treatment he received at the hands of his fellow man, 10 years in jail for simply being truthful about his love for other men. He never lost his own humanity. He never lost hope, and amazingly, he never lost his sense of humor. I was moved by his family's accounts of his caring and kind acts toward others. Even more moved when I read in his journals and diaries that the family let us use for research for the play, that he passed his time in jail by writing limericks, by reading vertigo, and writing regular letters to his aunt and faithful sister, who never gave up, filing appeal after appeal, fighting the system, and finally winning his freedom. He is a hero of the often unsung kind, and we wanted to sing him and others like him proudly. Thanks.
That's wonderful, Natalie. You know, I just want to take this moment just to pause for a minute. Our ASL interpreter, Janice, well done. That was, you got all that. That was great. Wow. So I'm gonna save Janny and Caitlin for last, and I would like to hear from Meredith's dog, please. Well, go ahead, Meredith.
Well, I think he wants to be a star. He jumped up as soon as he knew.
Well poised. He's well poised. He's waiting for me to ask him.
He's been on
Kibble
the
and
floor
bits.
the entire show.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Kibble and bits. Oh, his ear moved.
Yeah.
Do you want a cookie? Okay, let's move this along. Meredith, what inspired you to write this play? Why this story? And please don't tell me it's about your dog.
It's not. There's a cat in it. It's not about my dog. It actually, like Giovanni, it was actually a requirement for my thesis. It was my pre-thesis play for Clem Martini, so I didn't have a choice. It started as just a scene, and it was me picturing myself when I was a teenager, quiet, awkward 14-year-old, curled up in a book with a book in our living room, next to our wood stove, and my dad would come into the room and he'd try to pull me away from the book and talk to me. And, one of the first things he'd say would be, "You've been sitting here all day. Why don't you go outside, get some fresh air?" Because being inside all day would never occur to him. He was a avid gardener and outdoorsman. He died far too young, and he never got to meet my children, who are now teenagers. And so sometimes when I see them curled up, cuddling their iPhones, I can kind of hear his voice in my head. And, would he sound joke and ease them and cajole them into putting down TikTok and going outside for a walk? And I also wondered, to trap and snare animals, would they ever become friends? Would they become maybe even confidants? And in a process that will forever fascinate me, and with a lot of help from many, many other artists and their lovers, that scene grew into my play, Shark Bite.
Wow. Well, that's a great story, and blessings to your dad.
Thanks, Bo.
Let's move to Jenny and Caitlin. It's always great seeing you two. Tell me, what inspired you to write this play and why this story?
Well, Bo, for our play, 1939, a love of Shakespeare actually brought us into deep discussion about accessibility, the possibility of being hired, and how to find yourself in the work if your life experience encompasses a diverse perspective. This, coupled with Janny's 20-year exploration in artist education, engaging Indigenous actors with Shakespeare's body of work, led to the seed of an idea.
And from there, further research and consultation with elders shone light on the resilience of residential school survivors. It was essential to write the story from the students' perspectives, centering their voices and exploring how they could find themselves within Shakespeare's words and bringing their living culture to the work.
That's wonderful. Natalie, it's great meeting you. Meredith, it's great meeting you and your dog. Jenny and Caitlin, it's always wonderful seeing you. I wish the four of you the best of luck. And now let's go to, we'll hear from Black Theatre Workshop in Montreal as they announce the recipient.
Hi, I'm Diane Marie Bridge, Artistic Director for Black Theatre Workshop here in Montreal. And we're joining you today from our rehearsal hall in beautiful downtown Montreal. I am really honored to be presenting the 2023 Carol Bolt Award. I used to work at Playwrights Guild way back in 2004, from 2004 to 2009 as the membership manager and contracts manager. So it's really lovely to see how the project has grown over the last 2 decades, how playwriting in Canada has deepened, and how Playwrights Guild has also grown. So we're really, really thrilled to be part of this announcement today.
Black Theatre Workshop is situated in Montreal, also known in the Mohawk language as Jojake, or broken in two because of the way the river breaks around the islands. It is a place that has been a point of creativity and exchange for millennia and is on the unceded Indigenous lands of the Gayangehaga Nation of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. The Anishinaabe, Abenaki, Huron-Wendat, and the Métis have all served as custodians of this land over time, together with the First Peoples of Turtle Island. And we at Black Theatre Workshop extend our deepest respect and appreciation to the elders of these communities and to all Indigenous peoples who carry the history of this land, caring for it and calling it home.
So follow me down the hall to our office. So now I get to tell you about the shortlist for the Carol Bolt Award. They are 1939 by Janny Lauzon and Caitlin
Reardon, Legislating Love, The Everett Clifford Story by Natalie Meisner, and Sharkbite by Meredith Taylor Perry. The jury says 1939 is a theatrically powerful piece. Its sharp wit and well-drawn characters create an insightful look at life in a residential school. Not an easy task. An important and intriguing piece for the Canadian theatre landscape. Legislating Love, The Everett Clifford Story, is a significant and unique piece based on the true story of a man who fought for dignity in a shameful era of intolerance against gay men. Beautifully written. And Sharkbite. This two-hander is an intriguing piece set in an isolated cabin in deep winter. Through strong dialogue and beautiful, touching moments, a teenager and her grandfather learn surprising and important things about each other. Will their bond strengthen or fall apart? And the Carol Bolt Award goes to... Ooh. Legislating Love, The Everett Clifford Story by Natalie Meisner. Congratulations. Yay.
Hi. Hi, thank you so much. So very much for this award. Truly honored to receive the Carol Bolt Award. Carol Bolt is a writer whose work I cherish and from whom I was lucky enough to share some glowing conversations with as a young writer. She inspired me. She taught me things. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Playwrights Guild. And thank you to every theater artist who's wherever sat down at the table and worked with me on a play, and every audience member who's ever come to see a show. A play to me is, I think of it something like an exquisite blueprint. They need to be beautiful as I can possibly imagine. They need to be as true as they possibly can. They need to be lean, they need to be strong, and they need to be efficient. They begin with snippets of conversation or stories told to me by family, by friends, or in this case research. Gradually, the characters take shape and begin to speak. And you can spend days, hours, years on the play. But the moment that everything feels truly alive is around the table, in the rehearsal hall, in the company of dramaturges and those fabulous beings, actors who breathe life into whatever it is. A Life in the Theater has put me in conversation with some of the finest artists of our time and some of the kindest too. A Life in Theater has opened my mind and it's kept me that way. Thank you to my wonderful dramaturges, Pamela Bolstead, Jason Nemmel, to my wonderful wife, and my two sons who are here celebrating with me, my family, my mom, my colleagues and my students for continued inspiration and support. Thank you so much to the Playwrights Guild for this, and congratulations to everybody else this
evening. Thank you, Natalie, and all the other 150 people in the room with you. And thank you to Janice. Wow, I don't know how you caught all that. That was amazing. And thank you to Shona, our ASL interpreters for this awards presentation. You two have done an incredible job. It's wonderful. Wow, that was very exciting. Now, there you are, Shona. Thank you very much. You two are wonderful. Is this how I do it? So now, yes, we are coming to the end. And we know it's the end when the executive director comes on to say some words. So now, let's bring her on. Nancy Morgan, the executive director of PGC. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, Bo. I believe what you said is the party's over now that I'm here. I think that's...
No.
It has been such a wonderful evening. So I want to thank everyone who's joined us and give an enormous thank you to our fantastic host, Bo Dixon, for chatting with so many of our talented writers tonight. On behalf of the staff and the board of PGC, I want to thank Bo for being with us, for presenting straight from the Tom Hendry Warehouse Theatre in Winnipeg, and also for coming straight from his matinee performance of Clue at the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre. Thank you for joining us, Bo. Playwrights Guild believes these awards are an important way to support playwrights' new works and to promote the wealth of Canadian stories for the stage that are created by our members across the country. They are inspiring to us, and we hope the same for all who are watching. We encourage you to look for the work of Canadian playwrights on stages in your communities, in bookstores, and in libraries. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Nancy. Those were lovely words, and it has been an honor to be here. Congratulations to all nominees and recipients of the Tom Hendry Awards. Remember, everyone's a winner, baby, and that is the truth. A final thank you to the sponsors, all artists who joined us on screen tonight, to our amazing ASL interpreters, Shona and Janice, and to everyone tuning in. It's very important that you tune in, because without you all, why are we doing this? Thank you to our presenting partners across the country, and a special thank you, as Nancy said, to the Royal Manitoba Theatre for allowing us to stream from their Tom Hendry Warehouse. Look at this place. And I again want to thank Jackson and Tim. They've been here from the very beginning. They've been helping me. They've made sure that nothing goes wrong, and they have been wonderful hosts. Thank you, boys. Greatly appreciated. Thank you to Camilla and Kelly at the MTC. They have been wonderful. And if anyone is in Manitoba, come see me at Clue. Colonel Mustache is the name. And thank you to Mindy. You have been wonderful. And thank you to all. Hey, and don't stop writing. Keep it going. No fear. Good night.